Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the self-proclaimed king of primetime, officially the youngest old man in Ghana, the man who says old age is an option, the man who says he's got swag in his jeans. The man is here today. Sit back, kick up your feet, chillax, and get ready for GH's sizzling primetime show. Now, GH, put your hands together and show some love for the alleged king of primetime, KSM.
The KSM Show.
Well, we're back. You know, I have Randy on and I said, Randy, this is getting too exciting. So please, you have to hold on till we conclude. So, Randy, welcome back again.
Thank you, Chief.
We started off with COVID-19, and I want to start from there because there were some very, very important things that he said. He said, we keep saying, this shall pass, and this too shall pass. Because I say something. And now we say it because we want it to pass, so that we can go back to the old ways of how we used to hang out, social distancing, all the kinds of stuff. Is that what we are waiting for it to pass or return to? Or are we waiting for it to pass to return to a new normal, which the COVID-19 is going to be imposing on us? So we have to continue that discussion. And Randy, and that's so important. And you said something last week that I wanted to pick up on. You said there were some lessons that we should have learned that we haven't learned. Let's start from there. What should we have learned from this COVID thing that we...
Look, let's not even go back. We had a June 3 disaster.
Yeah.
What didn't we say in this country?
Yes.
We said never again. What didn't we say in this country? Does Accra still get flooded? So what did we learn?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And after all the statements we made after June 3. Yeah.
I mean, we had the May 9 disaster between Hearts of Oak and Kotoko. You know, and we said, oh, never again. Mr. Herbert Mensah reminds us every May 9. You know, he still does it till today. You know, to bring a constant reminder. What has changed? You know, have we taken advantage of those things to do things in a much more different way, or do we just engage in some tokenism? You know, we just change one or two things and we say that, oh, this and that is changed, and then that is it until the next disaster hits us. So I say that with what has happened globally, everybody is talking about a new normal, and because of that we're also saying, oh, the new normal. You understand me? But I ask myself that when we say this too shall pass, is it because we expect that the pandemic will pass? That is what will pass. But that we're going to embrace and accept the fact that the world has changed fundamentally in a lot of ways. That we cannot continue doing things the same way. We ought to take a second look about our investments and where we invest, our priorities, what we need to do. Is that what we talk about when we say this too shall pass, and that a new normal, or we're saying that this too shall pass so that we can quickly get back to
our old ways?
Because it is evident in this country, with the benefit of hindsight, that anytime such things strike, we keep talking about, oh, and this shall be the catalyst for us to do things differently, and this should never happen again. But experience from hindsight tells us that after just a few weeks and months,
we move on,
we go back to doing things even in a worse manner. So that's exactly the point that I was making. Look, there was a publication about KNUST scientists and INCAS, a laboratory in Kumasi, developing a rapid test kit. The good thing about this is that this is a test kit that is going to test for antibodies. The test that we're running just tests for who's positive and who's negative. But we know that globally, in Europe and North America and Asia, they've moved beyond just the testing for positive and negative to the antibodies. So they're able to test for a person who's had it before, a person who's symptomatic and asymptomatic, and then a person who's not had it before, because that then helps in research into developing immunities and all that, and so this is what they've done. So what it means is that is a next step, a step above just testing for who's positive and negative, because that does not tell you who ever had it. So if at the time you're testing a person, the person shows negative, you will not even know if the person had or did not have, especially if the person is asymptomatic. But this one will tell you, and so it can lead you to a further research. What makes the person asymptomatic? What is it about the person's immunity and all that? And so that's great. Now, same day, Ghanaian Times reports of Kolebu, the CEO of Kolebu, saying that they've used their own IGF with their own staff to produce sanitizers, liquid soaps, gowns, and other PPEs for their use. 2 weeks earlier, the first family health, the first private medical school in Ghana, Family Health Hospital on the Teshinungwa Road, they also produced some PPEs, and they even made a donation to the Ridge Hospital. We're told that some scientists at the KNUST are developing a ventilator. So my question is, but for COVID-19, Kolebu will be putting in adverts every day in the papers, asking for people to put in tender. So procurement. And we are going to import liquid soap from abroad, and we will import sanitizers. When COVID started and sanitizers became both exorbitant and scarce, we immediately assembled pharmaceutical people and even those in the alcoholic beverage industry to shift into the production of sanitizers and all that. Hither to that, most of the sanitizers on our shelves were imported.
All of them?
Yes,
most of them
were imported. So now as we speak, we now have a collaboration between the KNUST and INCAS laboratory in Ghana to produce a rapid test kit. So I ask, if you go into our pharmacies and hospitals, the equipment for testing blood pressure, sugar level, and all those things. We have a problem with dialysis and all that. All this blood pressure and all those things, which of them is made in Ghana? All those you find are imported. Now this COVID-19 and what has been happening is demonstrated that there is the local capacity to produce these ones. So Kolebu could have been producing their own liquid soaps and sanitizers and some of their PPEs by themselves, and we should not be spending a lot of money on procurement. I'm sure that procurement department at Kolebu is one of the biggest. And Kolebu do a lot of procurements and all these big hospitals. In the midst of the scarcity, global scarcity, you see that we have been forced to now
rise up to the occasion.
And so what it means is that all these things have been with us, the capacity to do these things. But we have never, ever decided to do them. And to the extent that we have the opportunity of importing, and we have monies to import, we continue to import. So in Ghana, the biggest thing in Ghana is procurement. Everything must be procured. Everything must be procured. But when there's global scarcity, we have found that
we can do them.
We have the capacity to do a lot of them here. Even equipment, not basic things like PPE, surgical gloves and masks and all that. We have to rely on importation for all these things. Global scarcity, we're doing them. Now, when we say all shall pass, or these two shall pass, are we waiting for these two to pass so that we go back to the same? You know, or this rather will spur us on to say that if these guys have been able to even develop this test kit for even antibodies test, not just positive and negative. What it means is that, look, and as another scientist says that, look, is able to do something for ventilators. It means that we have the local capacity. We need to focus resources there and build capacity, and we'll be able to manufacture a lot of ventilators, a lot of test kits, a lot of this sugar blood and high blood pressure machines that we buy, and almost every middle class or working middle class household has one or two of these equipments in there, and all of them are imported. These are things that we obviously do have the capacity, but we have refused.
Yeah,
we have refused to develop that capacity.
And do you see ourselves going back to the procurement of things from outside after this?
So the point is, when we say the new normal,
okay,
are we also just saying it so that we're also seen as people who are abreast with global trends and what is in vogue? Or do we really mean it? That look, with the new way of life that this has exposed us, we're sure and we are prepared to embrace it and to adapt and to use it as a catalyst to change the way we have done things. Yes. For me, that's where the challenge is. That's where the challenge is.
Yeah.
You know, because if you even look at education in Ghana, what this COVID has done is that it's brought to the fore the overwhelming importance of data. Today, physical space for schooling, from crèche to university, is not unavailable. Everybody has to now rely on data. So when we talk about the new normal, are we waiting for these two shall pass so that we go back? Because you see, KSM in this country, when we talk about, you know, education system is a pyramid. So at the base, which is primary, is large. Then it becomes thinner or smaller as we go up there. So let's say if 1 million kids start at the secondary level, they are reducing to about 400, 500,000. At the university level, they are getting to about 150,000 and all that. And for most part, it is because we don't have the space. And when we talk about space, it's physical space. And so if we say there is a university, the university refers to a physical space. And so when we talk about enrollment and capacity, we are looking at physical spaces. So even if we are talking about, let's say the University of Education Winneba, they have a Kumasi campus, they have an Ajumaku campus, they have this, they are still physical spaces. So enrollment is linked to the availability of space. Now that Corona has come, who is studying in the physical space?
We are all online now.
So when we talk about the new normal, what this thing is doing is that things that on your own without Corona you could have done, you decided not to do. Now Corona is forcing you to look at how you can do things in this way. My kids' school, they closed their school 2 weeks before vacation, and so for the last 2 weeks it was virtual. Public schools have not opened, but their school, which is a private school, has reopened. They reopened on the 14th of April. And the same way they ended the second term, they started the third term. It's virtual.
All virtual.
Yes, it's all virtual. And so third term has started. And so the old normal of the kids wearing their uniform and being picked to school and picked from school and going to school and all that, it has changed. It has changed. And depending on how this thing is going to go, they could perhaps do the whole third term in that particular way without they being physically present in the school.
On the premises,
You get what I'm saying?
I get what
so what it means is that if this is a school that even says that we'll just do 20 kids per classroom, with this opportunity, with this situation now, they can enroll 100.
Or even more.
Yes. You know, so even with the universities and all that, we're always looking at physical buildings, physical space and all that. So when we talk about the new normal and these two shall pass, where's our focus? Is it that we expect this to help us to embrace the way to do things, or what this is telling us is that this is what you should have been doing? You refuse to by yourself do it. You are now being forced to do it. Are you waiting to go back to your old ways by this too shall pass, or you are prepared
to make a whole new development.
I guess that's the whole thing. Because I was speaking with Dr. Omanibo and Dr. Kobo on my show. So I said something. I told them that was significantly. I tell people that, shall I ask for me, my sickness is only a flu cold. Every time I get a flu cold. But you know that, incidentally, since this COVID thing came, I've never had one.
Really?
Yes. Then Dr. Omanibo said, you know what? I am sure that it is because of the strict adherence to the hygiene protocols. Because until COVID came, you were shaking people by heart, you were touching your face by heart.
Yes.
So you saying that that wasn't the case. It was because
your behavior.
And so maybe, in fact, not maybe, in fact, this adherence to the hygienic protocols is what has prevented you from having all those
flus and colds.
Yes, flus and colds. And I sat back and I said, this makes sense.
Wow.
Because I have not had it over a long period. But has something also changed in the way I do things? Yes, something has changed. Could that be the reason? Yes, it could be. Because I'm doing all those things to also prevent a certain flu. You know, a certain flu called Koro. You understand me? Yeah. But in doing so, it is also, so what is also told me that is that when this is all done,
keep to the
same way. So that should be your new norm. But if you want to go back to the old ways and still tell people that, oh, child, as for me, say me, my secret's not be the cold, the flu, I should say with the AC and the ice, cold water and things. It be, but it don't be.
Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah. But what? Do you see, considering this? Let's talk about the new wave of manifestos that are going to be coming out. Are you looking to see manifestos that address this new normal, the way things have to be done now that we have had this COVID thing? We're going to go back to the same old thing about how many schools we'll build, or we're not going to be talking about how much data we're going to put out there to encourage education.
You know, any manifesto, that is that, you know, fortunately for our political parties, the COVID is come before they are released. I'm sure that from a lot of them, they ought to go back. Because some of them have even gone far. They have to go back and start rewording and start, because this thing has changed fundamentally. You know, unless you don't want to. And that's what brings me back to that issue, and I'm very passionate about. All these two shall pass. Is it to pass so that we embrace and adapt to a new way of doing things, or
go back,
that these two shall pass so that we go back? So we will wait and see who addresses what is called a new normal. You know, because in terms of the kind of society that we have, you know, a lot of the protocols that we're asked to adhere to are in sharp contrast with our societal norms and what we do on a daily basis. I was just telling people that, look, just a few months ago, politicians had to hide to apply sanitizers when they go in public and greet people. Because it was seen as offensive. And politicians who were seen using sanitizers were seen as people who thought that they were snobbish and they were arrogant and they were whatever. Today, everybody, even the madmen on the street, they are looking for sanitizers. Every day. And I also live around the ball and they are looking for sanitizers.
And I'm laughing because I remember, I'm not going to mention his name, there's one particular politician who was seen as snobbish because they said every time he was shaking hands, the wife would give him sanitizers to wash it. Now it's the norm, it's the thing to do.
You know, so this thing is going to change a lot of things fundamentally. I mean, look at the construction of our markets, the architecture. This is how it's been even when our mothers were born. There are only a few modern markets that have been constructed differently, just a handful. But most of our markets are structured in such a way that social distancing is no. I mean, even hygienic protocols, I mean, no. You get what I'm saying? And then for us, we believe that God loves us more than any other people on this earth.
That's
true. So I mean, God, and to an extent, I think it's true, because if I look at our behavior and our attitudes, I mean,
and how we're able to survive, God must love us, right?
But for that, can you imagine if a lot of us, because the data and the research is pointing to majority of us being asymptomatic.
Yeah.
So we either do not show the symptoms or show mild forms of the symptoms. Can you imagine if 5% of what is happening in Italy or in New York were to happen here? Just 5%.
Yeah.
Of the hospitalization and the death here.
Yeah.
So if God didn't love us to make most of us asymptomatic and all that, can you imagine what Corona would have done to us?
And on that one, let's take a short break. When we come back, the final conclusion of this amazing interview. Stick around, we'll be right back.
The KSM Show.
Ahwefo ene de ya sanda bibi foforo abadwa so eye erata yenton cars nkoa se open quick service open so maintain wo car ubetimi aba ye wo original synthetic oil, that is castor oil for high grade cars, and your low ones, and we have the speedmate oil from Korea, your brake pads, your oil filters, your all the original items that you need for your car. Ball joints ni bibia and it is all per quick service about your car. Please don't hesitate. Bombardier Bre Rata Motors ne be bibia ma so hwe party bi na ho ayentina ma na wunya ubomodin ba uba me hu party ne be your chances no ba be order party na ma at a very reasonable cost. It is said there are some for and aba.
Therefore, se wope wine and sata me pacho pi Man Family Wine. I'm rantie miensa wo mu free Stellenbosch, South Africa ye ne tra kwan. Red wine na wodo ni bi ene Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot and Syrah. White wine nso ebi ne Chardonnay and Chanel Blanc. Wo pese wo enjoy wine ya. Me pacho pi. White wine no 7 ice cold and a red wine nso maninye cool kakra. Wo pache de bi dia mo pani bia. Man Family Wine. Wo ye party and a yen soa. Emma rain free Man Family Wine. RT's option was Spintex Road in Krankwa and a sole distributor ewo Ghana. At to phone for 020-811-0618 059-261-1618 and now 020-816-1601. Man Family Wine or BRC ye. Nom ni nyansemu wonton many pa winning fie dumotwe and sesa penfo num bie. FDA ahwehwe sa edwedie nkrato imagya to mu se eye.